All right, the Padres, they win this game 5-3 over the D-backs, and finally we can stop looking at the standings. We're probably still going to keep looking at it, but for the Padres' sake, if you only care about the Padres and what they're doing and where they're going to be, you can stop looking at the wild card standings because they are going to be the 4 seed. Obviously, they couldn't win the West against the Dodgers, obviously, losing that series. That was disappointing, but that was a goal, not the goal. I think AJ Cassavell put that well talking to Mike Schilt last night, I think after that game. And he's right. The goal is to go win the World Series. And the Padres can do that, obviously being in the postseason. And now we know that they're going to be hosting a wild card series come Tuesday, and hopefully only Tuesday and Wednesday at Petco Park. And then they can move on to the NLDS. We'll see who the Padres are going to play. Mets and Braves, they're, battling. D-backs are in there obviously as well. And Mets and Braves, they could be playing a doubleheader. As of now, it's scheduled for Monday. But if it's only seeding that's up for, that's on the line on Monday, maybe they end up not playing both games of that doubleheader. So we'll see. But as of now, we could be watching some baseball on Monday, Padres fans, seeing who will come out of that doubleheader and who could the Padres match up against come Tuesday at Petco. But now, what is great about this is the Padres can line up their rotation however they want it, whether they want it to be Cease, Musgrove, and Darvish, whether they want it to be Cease, Musgrove, and Michael King, because Michael King was scheduled to tentatively pitch on Sunday if they needed it, because Martin Perez was going to go tomorrow, Darvish obviously tonight, King on Sunday, and then if King would have pitched on Sunday, then he would not have started one of the wild card games. He could have come out of the bullpen, and he may end up still doing that because it's still like, do you want Yu Darvish not being on the roster? Because I find it hard to just imagine Yu Darvish running out of the bullpen in a postseason game. Could happen, and I'm sure if the Padres said, hey, this is your role, I don't think he'd be like, no, F that, I'm not doing it. It would just be weird. Where Michael King, he has that experience of coming out of the bullpen with the Yankees. But I could definitely see how it's like, man, that's a slap in the face to Michael King. If Michael King, he's been your best, most consistent starter, he has earned that wild card start, and you're going to have Yu Darvish start over Michael King and have Michael King come out of the bullpen when Michael King's been a starter the entire year. He's been pitching the entire year, never went on the IL. Now, social media, as they do with a lot of things, I think they blew up Darvish's beginning of his outing tonight. They blew it out of proportion. Yeah, was it bad? Yeah, it was not great. But he was able to settle down. So the Padres, obviously, they dropped 4 runs there in the first. And what I loved was them taking advantage of the Diamondbacks' mistakes. Those could be the difference in the Padres winning or losing postseason games here coming up next week. We know that the Padres made some mistakes in that Dodgers series, and the Dodgers capitalized. That's what good teams do. And the Padres, they're a good team, and they capitalize on the D-backs mistake, whether it was Ketel Marte with the throwing error, airmailing the first baseman, or it was the ball that got past Ketel Marte there on the Manny they called it a single, got under his glove there, taking advantage of it. The Luis Ariz effect. Luis himself had a great day today, 3 hits, had an opportunity for the cycle, but didn't hit the homer, and he didn't stop at first base for that single. He ended up getting a couple of bases there, but he did have a triple, drove in a run, scored a run. His batting average is up to 314. Him and Shohei are battling for that batting title. I think Shohei would have the triple crown if he can beat Luis Ariz for the average. So we'll see. I mean, who knows if Luis Ariz even plays the next 2 days, to be quite honest, right? Because the Padres aren't playing for anything the next couple of days. It's so relieving where we can sit back and we can throw Martin Perez and we can throw Matt Waldron or Randy whoever on Sunday. And you can have Brandon Lockridge go play the field and start, get him at bats, see what he can do, getting some at bats here these last couple of games. You could have Nick Ahmed play. You can have Tyler Wade play. And you can give guys well-earned a couple of days off and really when you think about it, they're going to have 3 days off, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, going into Tuesday's wildcard game. That's an advantage. Obviously, we'll see if the doubleheader ends up happening on Monday, and if whoever comes out of that ends up playing the Padres. Padres will have a rested bullpen, and they've got rested players, and who knows what shape that team coming into San Diego is going to be. But the Luis Arraez effect, getting back to that, Jackson Merrill, that pitch that he hit in that first inning to make it 2-0, well outside the zone, but he just put the ball in play, not trying to do too much. And then Xander made it 3-0. David Peralta smoked that ball to right field, made it 4-0. And yeah, Darvish, again, his start was not great. Was getting pounded there in that first. Corbin Carroll with the homer. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. had the sac fly, made it 4-2. But then after that, he settled down. Obviously, after that, he gave up, one more earned run? Eugenio Suarez in the 6th inning had that RBI single. But Darvish, I don't think Darvish was in the game. I think it was just an earned run towards him. It was Estrada. No. Sorry. Darvish, yeah, he did give that up. But Estrada only went 2 outs, gave up a hit, struck out a guy. I think like a lot of Padres fans, sitting there just continuing to be concerned with Robert Suarez, because tonight, and I don't want to totally, go right past Morahone and Adam. Adam, my goodness, just continues to be nasty. And he may end up being the X factor in this Padres bullpen. Because you have Suarez, you have Scott. We'll see what we get from him. If Jason Adam, if you can rely on him and he's not going to give up anything, man, that can be huge. Obviously, coming up next week. Starting next week. And hopefully, through Halloween. But yeah, good job from him. But with Robert Suarez, obviously, I think that's the big topic of conversation. Tonight, it was the same stuff. It was, and Don said it as well on the broadcast, and I agree. It was fastball down the middle, or it was fastball wild out of the zone. It was changeup down. The second out on the strikeout, that wasn't even a strike, so Suarez got bailed out there. And then I believe the ball that was put in play, I don't think that was a strike either. I think that was down and in on the ground out. So, again, it's like Cub postseason time, we're just going to have to cross our fingers with Suarez. Maybe this time off, it will help him, but going into tonight, he had days off. If I wasn't wrong on my bullpen chart, I'm pretty sure I was correct on it. Going into tonight, he had a couple of days off. And he only threw 12 pitches on the 24th, and he had the day off before that. So he's had some time, and we're just seeing what I'm seeing. Something encouraging is that, yeah, he was trying to throw a different pitch other than the fastball more often tonight. He was throwing that changeup, and he's using this as the time to, although, yeah, the 4 seed was still on the line, but it sure seems like the emphasis with Ruben, with Suarez is, okay, we're using this time as trying to get comfortable throwing something other than a fastball. I wonder if during the offseason, because they're not going to do it now, but during the offseason, would he try to get a sweeper or some type of slider, some type of pitch like that? Or is he only comfortable, or had they tried it and he's just not comfortable throwing that, and it's really bad? It's a bunch of spiked balls or not even close to the zone. Because the fastball tonight, it was, sure, he still has the velocity. Like, at least we have that. But it's just the inconsistency with the fastball. And then his other pitches, I feel like the opposition can still kind of just spit on those pitches and just wait for a fastball to come down the middle. And that's going to hurt the Padres if that continues to be the case, I think, come postseason time. If they can just sit on the fastball in a big spot, I mean, wow. Tonight at Chase Field, by the way, how many home runs did it feel like were hit, but they ended up not being homers? Long fly balls. Jackson Merrill made one heck of a play. I think it was Morahone that was on the mound when he made that play in center. Seems like a Gold Glove is in his future. This is his first year transitioning, obviously, to center field. The routes have been great. Just he seems really comfortable out there. But I mean, Manny had a long fly ball. When Darvish was on the mound, there were some pretty hard hit balls, loud contact, I should say, that were like warning track flyouts. And it's like, man, how did that not get out? I believe the roof was closed. How did that not get out? But yeah, so I would say like the offense, and you could say it for both sides, wasn't as bad as it seems. Padres left 8 guys on base. D-backs left 9 guys on base. But I'm curious, like, how many of those were those long fly balls? And they're still encouraging things with the Rise, right? For us, the Rise, 3 hits. Merrill had a couple of hits. Manny had a hit. Crony had a hit. Peralta had a couple of hits. Higgy had a hit. And now, again, like the only stress, I guess, but that would only be like after someone gets hurt, right? And I knocked on wood real loud there. Tried to. The stress would be like injuries, right? That's because now we're not stressing. I'm not going to be. If they lose, who cares? I don't. I'm not going to be stressing over the results of the next couple of days between the Padres and the D-backs when Brennan, I'm hoping it's going to be a lot of Lockridge and Ahmed and Tyler Wade and Elias Diaz and Yuki Matsui and Alec Jacob, maybe Matt Waldron on Sunday or Randy Bat, whoever. That's what I'm hoping. Get these guys off their feet, playing on that turf in Arizona. No, thank you. No need to do it. They've earned these couple of days off, few days off, and then be ready to go come that wild card series on Tuesday at home. That is going to be one electric atmosphere. Obviously, at Petco, it's going to be the first wild card series, like real wild card series, where it's a full packed Petco Park crowd for the wild card series, because the wild card series obviously was in New York against the Mets in 2022. It was the division series and the championship series that were at Petco, but to have all 3, potentially 3, hopefully 2, 3 games at Petco, that's going to be one heck of an atmosphere. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I would assume it's going to be the late night game. So I don't think people are going to have to be calling out of work, hopefully, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, hopefully, again. Because the wild card matchups these are the standings, up to date today. By the way, Tiger on the AL side, Tigers clinched a postseason spot today. The Royals did as well, I believe. So the AL, those series as of now would be Astros and the Royals, and then Orioles, Tigers. So I guess Houston could be a late game, but I feel like if there's going to be 4 games, isn't one usually at 10, 1, 4, and 7, let's say? They'd probably go San Diego as the 7, and you have Houston be the 4, and then you have the other matchups. Baltimore could be the early. And then on the National League side, it would be Brewers, Mets as of now, and Padres would be hosting the Braves. But that's as of now. Obviously, things could change. D-backs, Mets, Braves, they are tied with one another. Obviously, they haven't played the same amount of games yet, D-backs in comparison to the Mets and Braves, but those teams, they're tied technically right now in standings. But the line, the D-backs don't make it as of now, and it would be the Braves going to here, and then Mets in Milwaukee. And so obviously that wouldn't be the late game. So I think we're pretty set that it's going to be the late game, but we'll see. And it's going to be interesting to see what that starting pitching matchups are going to be. I'm interested for a couple of things. The 3 starters, right, is who's going to be the odd man out, Darvish or King? Because that's what for me, that's what the debate is. It's not Musgrove. It's not Cease. Those 2 are going to be getting starts, or at least in one of the 3 games, right? But I also wonder, so there's that, but also, are they going to announce the game 2 and 3 starters right out of the gate before the series starts? Or is Schilt going to say, we're not announcing the game 2 starter. The game 2 starter is going to be dependent on what happens in game 1. Because maybe they want Musgrove out there in game 2 if you have to win that game. Or maybe they want King out there in game 2 if they have to win that game. And then you have Musgrove for game 3 in a winner take all game 3 to go to the division series, So I am interested in that. Obviously, I'm interested in seeing the bullpen. Is Suarez going to continue to be the closer? I mean, it seems like it because he continued to close today, but I hope it's based on matchups and preferably, to be honest, I know Tanner Scott didn't have his best outing last time out, right? But preferably, I'd like to have Suarez, face the righty lane, maybe in the 7th inning, and then which it doesn't feel like they're going to go from Suarez pitching the 9th inning to him pitching in the 7th inning, game 1 of the wild card series, right? But we'll see. Preferably, I'd do that, and then you go. I mean, Jason Adams has been nasty, but based on matchups, Adam Scott or Scott Adam, and then hopefully you can have like Morahone or Hoeing to come into the game in case if something happens, or Michael King would probably pitch earlier if he's out of the bullpen. Same thing with Darvish if he isn't starting one of the 3 games. Maybe Estrada you have, but I feel like Estrada would be, as of now, it feels like he's the 6th inning guy if the starter can't get through 6. But maybe they go with Morahone there. They go with Hoeing there. It's going to be interesting to see, but it's good for us to be able to just take a deep breath and not have to worry about tomorrow or Sunday with the result. If the Padres win or lose, it could, kind of feel like spring training. And then we get going on Tuesday. It's going to be exciting.